Hari Om, Yoga Warriors. Mickey Space here, guiding you through a Hatha Yoga session. This particular Hatha session will work with the Gita style. So Gita Yoga is a form of Hatha which focuses on 10 postures, so 10 main asanas, let's say, which the intention is to bring ourselves back into balance. So we work through the major systems of the body, and then specifically working then with the endocrine gland system. So there were 7 endocrine glands, so 7 of those postures targeted towards those endocrine glands to either squeeze or create pressure or lock over those glands to stimulate those glands so they produce the hormones more effectively. The hormones being the chemical messengers which essentially make us who we are. And because of our stress, anxiety, toxic food or lifestyles that we live, bring us out of whack. Those hormones are out of whack. So this is to help bring that hormonal balance back into effect. So let's work with this practice, sitting up nice and tall, rolling your shoulders back, lengthening through the spine. Take a couple of slow, deep breaths to drop into your breath and drop into presence. That's one of the intentions of our Hatha practice, is to work with asanas, work with the breath, work with our meditation aspect as well, to bring ourselves into alignment, into presence, into this moment, letting go of the busyness of our minds. So let's begin. Inhale, we'll circle up the arms. With an exhale, place the left hand down and stretch your right arm up and over. Inhale, arms back up to the sky. And then to the other side, right hand down, left arm up and over. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, little twist to your right. Inhale, arms to the sky. And exhale, a twist to your left. Inhale, arms back up high. And exhale, place the hands back down. Now we'll do a little warm up before we come into our 10 postures. So onto your hands and knees, a few rotations here, drawing some circles, loosening up the joints, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the wrists, heading one direction, then heading the other way. So as always, just being mindful of your limitations. As we know, we practice within those limitations. Don't always listen and try and do everything I suggest, only if it feels right. So you need to intuit what feels right for you, where your limitations lie, which can change from day to day. Good little cat-cow rhythm from here. Inhale, arch the back, look up to the sky. Exhale, hunch the spine. Inhale, arch. Exhale, hunch. Once more, inhale, arching. And exhale, hunching. Back to center. We'll step the right leg forward, work a little lunging sequence here. So drawing the shoulders back, hands on the right thigh there. You take an inhale together, and with your exhale, lunge forward, sink the hips down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, forward lunge. Inhale. And exhale, lunge. Release the hands for a moment. Let's roll the shoulders back. Encourage the hips to drop towards the earth. Getting that nice deep stretch into your hip flexors, a little arch in the back, so a little pressure in the lower back as well. And then hands down either side of the right foot, either on the flat hands, fingertips or fists. Tuck the back toes under, straighten the back leg, and then working to straighten the front leg. Doesn't need to straighten all the way, only if the muscles allow, only if the leg allows. Try to press the right hip back, left hip forward, and breathe into the resistance, into where you feel the stretch. Good work, come back down. Untuck the toes, maybe a little rub through the back of the leg, little warmth back into the hamstrings there. And then switch over to the other side, left leg ahead. Hands on the left thigh, shoulders back together. Inhale. Exhale, lunge. Inhale. Exhale and lunge. Inhale. And once more with an exhale. Release the hands, shoulders back, sink the hips low. Couple of breaths there into the resistance in this pose. Maybe those hip flexors, maybe through the hip, maybe a little into the lower back. Then hands down either side of your left foot. Tuck the back toes under, straighten the back leg. Work towards the front leg straight. Just as far, again, as your body allows. Left hip back, right hip forward. Breathe into the resistance. Back down with the back knee and maybe a little rub through the back of the left leg. Okay, good work. So we've warmed up a little now. We've loosened up the body. We'll come to sit now and begin our journey through these specific 10 postures. So the first one, classic yoga mudra, to bring a couple of things there to bring the mind into balance to some degree, or the brain. Essentially, we're bringing the left and right hemisphere of the brain into alignment just through some simple symmetrical movements, working with this mudra action. And we're also activating our respiratory system. We're helping to increase the lung capacity through nice and slow deep breaths, so engaging our lungs and engaging the brain. So classic mudra, index fingers to the pads of the thumbs, the other 3 fingers extended, the arms extended out over the legs, over the knees there. Draw the shoulders back, open through the heart, and connect to your breath here. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And so these symmetrical, slow movements, 3 times we work the rhythm. So let's begin with the first round. Release the current breath. Then inhale, slowly bring the arms up, out to the side, so your palms face out, about shoulder height. A little bend in the elbows. And then with your exhale, we bow forwards and cross the arms behind our back. So just allow maybe the head to hang. We take a little pause here. Breathe in your own time as you pause. Still slow, deep breaths. But with the intention to pause in respect for ourselves, first and foremost, ourselves having made the effort to sit on our mats to work this practice today. Then with your next inhale, arms come back out to the sides. And with our exhale, arms back over the knees. Second round, inhale, open up. Exhale, bow forwards, cross the arms again. And pausing our second time in respect for others. So in respect for all others, but in particular the others who've maybe had a play or a connection for us being here to make the effort. Maybe our friends, our family, people in our household giving us the time, or our work colleagues, or our work itself, our people who pay our wages, work, government, whatever it might be. Thanking others. Inhale, coming back up, palms out to the sides. And exhale, the arms back over the knees. Third round, inhale, open. Exhale, bow forwards. Pausing our third time in respect for all of creation. In respect for the mineral kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. in their own way, allowing us to be here, giving us their gifts. Nutrition maybe, even just the gift of oxygen that we breathe. Prana, that is the life force that breathes through us, all coming from the energy of nature. Inhale, coming back up. And exhale. Release the arms back over the knees. Take a moment to pause in gratitude maybe for the gifts we have, this body, this life, the connections, our friends, our family. And the beautiful, amazing gifts of nature each and every day. So 2 hemispheres of the brain in alignment to bring our brainwave patterns a little slower, a little more at ease. From the brain working through the spine, along the spine, the central nervous system moves along there. So central nervous system relays the messages to the brain, to the body, and from the body to the brain. So working to stretch and strengthen our nervous system through a classic spine twist now. So release the legs out. And we'll work classic spine twist. So with the left leg straight, bring your right leg over your left leg. And either keep the left leg straight, or if it feels okay, you tuck it under. It's always handy to have a cushion around. If it feels better to sit up, you could. So that left leg either extended or tucked under. Left arm out to the side, wrap the left arm around the right leg. And then right arm behind you. Right hand either to the floor there, or if it's possible, the back of the hand to your left hip. Draw the right shoulder back, lift the heart, and turn the head to look over your right shoulder. Take a few breaths in your own time, visualizing the breath as energy moving up and down your spine. And then return, head looks back to center, follow through with the hands back beside the hips there. Take a moment to pause and just be in your spine. The spine, the channel of consciousness, relaying the messages, but also allowing for that free flow of energy, that prana, that life force that moves along the spine, working its way through all the body. Gently release the top leg. If the bottom leg's tucked, extend it out. And then other side. So now right leg straight, left over the right. Keep the right leg straight or tuck it under if that's okay. As long as both buttocks are to the floor. If you're kind of leaning to one side, you may prefer to release that bottom leg. So your choice there. Right arm out to the side with an inhale. Wrap the right arm around your left leg with your exhale. Left arm behind you with your inhale. Hand again either to the floor or the back of the hand to your right hip. Lift the heart, shoulders back, particularly left shoulder. And turning your head to look over the left shoulder. Breathing with that breath. Visualize the inhale. The spine lengthens a little more. The exhale, we twist into it a little further. Moving the energy up and down the spine. Next inhale, head returns back to center. Exhale, hands back beside the hips, shoulders back. Again, take a moment, be in your spine. And gently releasing. Good, we'll come on to the back next. So we worked the brain, engaged the respiratory system, still working that of course each and every time with our deep breaths. And the central nervous system, another system of nerves that runs through the center of the body, the autonomic nervous system, the vagus nerve being the main nerve that runs down the front of the body. It connects with the ganglion and nerves around the belly, around the solar plexus, an energy center, a chakra, but also physically it's a ganglion of nerves that converges there. And these nerves will be activated, and sometimes there's tension in those nerves when we're fearful or when we're anxious. So those often negative emotions, that feeling of butterfly in the bellies when we're holding those emotions down there, is an actual contraction of these nerves. So pose to open up that area helps to release that tension. So we'll work with a back bend, our classic bridge pose, also known in Gita as the wedge, Setu Bandhasana in Sanskrit. So feet hip width apart, heels ideally below the knees, hands beside the body with the palms facing down. We gently lift the bottom off the ground. So we could just stay there, but go a little further if you can. Interlace the hands underneath and squeeze shoulder blades together. There's our classic bridge or Setu Bandhasana. Keep lifting the hips high. So it is a back bend, as we may feel by now, but also that stretch through the front of the body. We could go even higher into the wedge version, where we might lift the heels off the floor to lift the hips high, and then wedge the hands either side of the hips to lift the hips nice and high, then heels back to the floor. And breathe now into your belly. You should see the belly along your horizon line, so see it rise and fall with each breath. So you're stretching out those nerves now, working to open up the solar center. Back bend, of course, as well. All the benefits of the back bend happening, compressing the spine there, but in particular the intention to release any emotional baggage that maybe needs to be witnessed, be acknowledged first of all, any of our fears, anxieties, but then encouraging those fears and anxieties to be gone, to be released. And to release from there, let's release the hands, slowly come down, and nice and gently, maybe if it feels okay, knees into the chest, a little rock side to side can be quite nice. Nice to twist the spine a little after a back bend. We worked our classic spine twist just before, but a little recline twist here could be nice. Arms out to the sides and then the knees over to your left side towards the left elbow. Back to center and then over to the other side towards the right elbow, right hand maybe to the knee. Look along the left arm. And back to center. Let's rock ourselves from there back up to sitting. So 3 main asanas down, we now begin the journey through the endocrine gland system. So starting with our classic forward bend, Paschimottanasana. We'll release the buttocks out to the sides. Potentially you might like to grab your cushion and even sit up a little higher. Sometimes that can help. Toes to the sky, classic forward bend. Keep the legs straight if we can. If you need to bend the knees, that's also fine. We reach up with the arms and we bow forwards. So keeping the spine straight is the intention here. So we're folding forwards like a hinge or like a book, closing ourselves up. So the pressure comes down below, and that's our target area. We do feel the stretch through the hamstrings, through your back, particularly the lower back. Great for stretching out the kidneys as well. So we hold on to the legs, the feet only if you reach comfortably, so maintaining that straight back. So try not to hunch the shoulders, keep the shoulders back and the rib cage towards the thighs. So we're creating that lock over the endocrine gland systems down below the creative glands. so also known as creative power posture here. The testes and prostate for men, and the ovaries for women. So the idea is to create that lock over there, over those glands below, impedes the blood flow coming down for this time that we're in the pose. And then the idea is once you release the pose, fresh oxygenated blood rushes back into those glands, re-energizing, revitalizing them, so that our creative hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, not only help to work more effectively at recreating ourselves, but also as a race, but also recreating each and every cell in our body. So visualize your body as you'd like it to be, healthy, vital, strong and powerful. So coming out now, let's stretch the arms forward and up and circle the arms back down. Good work. So we'll take a moment's break. We'll bend the knees, so just releasing, if you've got a cushion there, releasing that to the side. Bend the knees, arms around the knees, and just allow the spine to curl now. So we're creating space for the blood to rush back down into those glands. And if we're subtle enough, we may even be able to feel those glands being re-energized, revitalized. Good work. So we'll come round now onto our belly and continue our journey with the endocrine glands with another back bend. But this back bend particularly focuses on the kidney area, and just a bit above the kidneys, the suprarenal or adrenal glands, which are the glands that produce adrenaline and cortisol. So these hormones, particularly the adrenaline, is the hormone that gives us the drive to achieve what we need to achieve. So we often either got too much adrenaline or not enough adrenaline in our body, in our system. So this helps to balance it out, either reducing it if you're in overdrive or increasing it if you're in underdrive, let's say. So it's the classic bow pose, forehead to the earth, bend the knees, reach behind. So the aim is to reach for both feet. Sometimes we can only get one, so you may just do one side at a time. If you can reach for both, then hold on to both feet, and then let's lift up. Maybe a little drawing in of the belly towards the spine as you lift the legs high, getting that nice squeeze into the lower back. Hold it there for a couple of breaths. Lift a little higher still, and then slowly back down. Forehead back to the earth. Take a couple of breaths. And then we'll do that one more time. Bend the knees, reach for the feet, and tummy in. Let's lift up again. Lift up nice and high. Squeeze that mid to lower back regions. Squeezing, stimulating kidneys, stimulating the adrenal glands. Lift a little higher and back down. Good work. Lift up the legs for a moment, or the feet there, and just wave the legs a little side to side, little windscreen wiping, a nice release for your lower back and the hips after that quite strong pose. Dhanurasana, the bow pose that we just worked. Good, back to center, release the feet down, hands down, push ourselves back up, and take a little moment actually in a child pose after the extended child pose. Always nice to create a little length through the spine. And then we'll sit back up to sit onto the heels, if you can, with the toes tucked under. If that's not comfortable, of course, untuck the toes. Working with our bandhas now. So bandhas I'll be posting another video more specifically on working with the bandhas, but essentially the bandhas are for 3 energetic locks, 3 main bandhas, numerous bandhas, but 3 main bandhas that we create these locks for various reasons to help contain our energy. But from that Gita perspective of working the endocrine glands, the main bandha we're focusing on is Uddiyana bandha. So that's the bandha that works on the abdominal contraction. So it's we perform the bandhas after a deep exhale. Essentially we create these locks. The Uddiyana bandha is drawing the belly in and up, so it's sucking the belly in essentially, which stimulates, it's a boon for your whole digestive system. But in particular, focusing in and up and under the rib cage, we've got the pancreas, which creates the insulin. Insulin is the hormone that regulates our energy levels. So it helps to transform the energy from our food that we eat. And when we're lacking our own source of that hormone, then people with let's say, like people who have diabetes, who have an irregular production of insulin, then they usually need to rely on external sources of energy. So they need sugar, Coca-Cola, whatever it is to give them that lift. So working this regularly can help to regulate our own insulin productions to be self-sufficient in our energy. So that's the main bandha that we're looking for. We could also engage Mula bandha, that's the base lock, squeezing the pelvic floor muscles, and Uddiyana bandha, the chin lock, drawing the chin in towards the chest. So the 3 locks engaged after an exhale, so without breath, holding without breath for as long as we can. And 3 locks energetically helps to store and boost our prana, our energy, our life force. And on that physical level, squeezing and stimulating the pancreas for our insulin production. So let's work that together. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Now all the breath out through the mouth. So exhale completely. Now without the breath for as long as you can. Base lock, stomach lock, so suck the belly in and up, chin in towards the chest. Let's hold there for as long as we can, as long as you can, without forcing. If you need to breathe again, when you will, you inhale through the nose, still with the locks engaged if you can, and then slowly as you release the locks, release the breath, and maybe even just lean forward. Let's try that once more. Hands to the thighs, shoulders back. A couple of deep breaths first. Just relax the abdomen first. A few abdominal deep breaths. And then together, deep breath in through the nose. All the breath out through the mouth. Without breath. Base lock, stomach lock, so suck the belly in and up, and chin lock. Hold there for as long as you can without breath. As soon as you need to breathe again, breath in through the nose and gently release the locks. Relax. Again, subtle but can be quite strong. Ideally, we work our bandhas always on an empty stomach. Always the best time to practice our yoga. Let's work that one more time. So the 3 bandhas called Mahabandha or Bandha Trayam, the 3 locks. Let's work together. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Without breath. Hold without breath for as long as you can. Base lock, stomach lock, and chin lock. Belly in and up, like you're drawing it under the rib cage there. The breath is out. As you need to breathe in, through the nose, gently release the locks. And then let's come back down onto our belly. And just rest the head on the back of your hands. Take a moment there to breathe a few crocodile breaths now, breathing into the belly. Feeling the resistance against the ground, sending the energy of the breath to the side ribs, to the back ribs. As we prepare the spine for a final back bend, Bhujangasana, our classic Cobra coming up next. So back bends are always useful for the spine, for the back, for all the muscles along the spine, but also known as heart openers, our back bends. And this one in particular, focusing on expanding through the chest, through the heart. And beside the heart sits the thymus gland. The thymus gland is the gland of discrimination, in the sense that it's the gland that produces the fighting cells, the T cells, and all the antibodies to help protect the body, so to discriminate what is good and what is not good. So if those cells are working effectively, then they can go out and fight invaders. So a great one to boost our immunity, to make us strong against any viral invaders. So hands underneath the shoulders, elbows to the sides, forehead to the floor. We roll the shoulders back now, draw the belly in towards the spine. That helps to protect the lower back as you come up. Keep the shoulders back, elbows in. Just come up as high as you can. If it's too high or too strong, always Sphinx is another option on the elbows, on the forearms. Shoulders back, so feel the lock over the chest, over the heart, stimulating thymus gland. And then slowly coming back down. Good work. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, belly in towards the spine, so you're engaging the core a little, protecting the lower back, and opening through the heart. Lock over the thymus. Intention to be healthy and vital, strong immunity. And then slowly back down. So from that, also from a Chinese medicine perspective, we create pressure in those back bends into the kidneys, which the kidneys are from that TCM perspective, are the organ that helps with your immunity. So working from different angles, different systems, but the same effect essentially. Again, maybe bend the knees, a few little waves of the legs side to side, just to release from the lower back. And then let's extend out one of the arms, maybe the right arm, and then the left hand presses you around, so you'll shuffle around to come now onto your back from there. So we're just transitioning smoothly onto our backs. So ready to work our eighth pose in this sequence, the shoulder stand. The shoulder stand focusing in on the throat center, so creating a squeeze into the throat to stimulate now your thyroid gland. Now shoulder stand, I mean if you're on your moon day, maybe you prefer not to be upside down, that's your choice. Or maybe for some people shoulder stand not accessible. So variation could be to bring the heel of one of the feet between the big and the second toe of the other foot. Hands behind the head, lift the head off the floor and squeeze the chin in towards the chest so you get that squeeze into the throat, and also that position of the foot there is stimulating pressure points there that work towards stimulating the thyroid gland, so you'd work one side then the other. So you can do that, or come into the shoulder stand with me if that's okay for you. Lift the legs up
and then pressing up and over. And then with the hands supporting the back, let's raise the legs up to the sky. Squeezing shoulder blades together, coming up as high as you can on the shoulders, feeling that squeeze in the throat, stimulating now the thyroid gland. Thyroid regulates thyroxine, the hormone which regulates our metabolic processes. It's also a boon for the legs, having the legs upside down for a little time. Releasing pressure in the legs. Coming back down, legs over the head, and then use your core, hands to the floor, thighs in towards the face, unwind the spine slowly. Try not to crash land here, nice and gently, coming all the way back down. Good work. Once we're down all the way for our 9th posture, the fish pose. Bring the arms underneath us, maybe interlacing the thumbs. Squeezing again, shoulder blades together as the legs extend out. Then press the elbows into the floor. Now we don't lift the head just trails behind. We press the elbows to use them as levers to lift the chest as the body slides down a little. The legs slide forwards a little so we can lift the chest nice and high. So our head's upside down, and there's the intention is to stretch out both the throat, working your parathyroid glands now that regulate your calcium and other source mineral distribution through the body, but also working the pituitary gland inside the brain, a little gland that sits inside an alcove like a droplet, and normally hangs like a droplet when we're the regular way up. When we come upside down, that droplet disperses. So what that does, we'll come back down now nice and slowly. Come back down. What that does when the droplet disperses, release the hands from underneath, roll the head from side to side, resting there for a moment, but just knowing that that droplet, or that gland essentially, it gets stimulated through that dispersion. And the pituitary gland is like the CEO of all the other glands, regulates all the other hormonal producing glands. So it sends the messages to all the other glands. It's the largest chemical factory in the world. They're right inside your head. And that pose there, just having the head upside down for some time each day, can regulate pituitary gland. So one final posture, our full inversion. We'll roll over to the side and gently bring ourselves back up to the knees. Now, full inversion classic one is the king of postures, the headstand. So not a headstand workshop now. If you're familiar with headstand and comfortable with it, and you'd like to go ahead, you can. But otherwise, working with the elephant pose, elephant Gita's variation of, let's say, downward dog. So from the hands and knees, extend the arms forward, spread the fingers wide, tuck the toes under, and like a downward dog, but then taking the feet wider, right to the edges of the mat, even off the mat if you like. So you've got a stabler position there where you can stay for a while, and encourage the head to hang. So the head's fully upside down now, almost trying to get the hips above the crown. So hang out in your elephant pose. Whenever you need to come down, just onto the knees and rest with the forehead on 2 fists. Those who've come into headstand, I'll join you for a moment. Coming into the headstand on, if that's, as I said, something you're comfortable with. Headstand, of course, the extra bonus of pressure onto the top of the skull. So stimulating here the pineal gland. Pineal gland is the gland that produces melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that regulates our cycles, so it connects us to our rhythms of nature, to the rhythms of nature, our own reflection of that, our sleep cycles, our menstruation cycles, whatever cycles that we need to connect with, the seasons. Coming back down when you're ready, and all of us resting the forehead on two stacked fists, bottom back to the heels, to bring the head and heart at the same level, at the same height, to re-equalize your blood pressure. Wonderful. Then sitting back to your heels, roll the shoulders back here. A few little neck rolls from side to side, windscreen wiping side to side, as we may have put some pressure on the neck. And then back to center, bring your right hand to the left side of the head and drop the head to the right side, left hand to the ground, without forcing, just a little gentle stretch through the left side of the neck. And then over to the other side, left hand to the right side. Back to center. So coming onto our backs now, our final posture. We've done the 10, but always a little Shavasana. Always great to complete our work with. So coming to lie on your back. Use a cushion if you like under the head, or a blanket on top of you if you have one. Essentially arms beside the body, shoulders back, lengthen through the lower back, through the back of the neck, palms facing up. Close the eyes and slow deep breaths, our full yoga breath now. Breathing deep into the belly, taking then the breath up through the chest all the way to the top of the lungs. And breathing out of the belly, chest, top of the lungs. Just allow the breath to deepen, to lengthen. Allow the body to relax. Allowing your body to assimilate all the work it's done, particularly those hormone producing glands now working more effectively to regulate the hormone production. The amount of hormones that we need to be in balance, to be vital, healthy, strong, and at ease. So always feel free to stay a little longer in your Shavasana if you like. Otherwise, when you're ready, give your fingers and toes a wriggle, stretch the arms. Onto the head, fingertips to toe. Rolling over to your preferred side, pausing there for a moment.
And then slowly bringing ourselves back up to sitting. Sitting nice and tall, shoulders back, spine upright. Again, feel free to stay sitting for a little while and work with a little meditation practice. And until we meet again, thank you for joining me. Namaste.